So tell me if looking at your bank account and facing the situation with your numbers feels like you are about to have a panic attack. If so, chances are there is something in your subconscious programming preventing you from having the right mindset around money. And if so, no wonder you might be grinding like crazy right now. And that's why, for the first time actually on this podcast, today I'm talking about money, and I have somebody to help me with this topic. I have an expert, and I'll tell you all about her in just a second. But first, welcome to the From Grind to Grace podcast. This is the show for the alternative entrepreneur, for the entrepreneur who's ready to flip the script, challenge the norms, and choose freedom first. When freedom is not a bloody destination, when freedom is the path. When you stop grinding for freedom and make freedom serve you and bring success as byproduct, that's when you think, I've made it already. So let's make this the new standard in the industry for yourself, for your children, and for humanity. We're not here to grind for freedom. We are here to create for freedom. So let's play. And so I want to welcome my amazing guest who is traveling all the time, living, embodying the freedom lifestyle. How amazing is that? And that's the beautiful, amazing, warm, friendly Aleksandra, almost a neighbor of mine from Poland. Except she kind of lives all over the place right now, but we'll talk about it, I think. And Aleksandra is a money mentor and profit coach, helping female entrepreneurs leverage the money in business to grow profits. As a full-time, financially free, digital nomad herself. Wow. And a home educating mom, her work is helping clients achieve time and financial freedom so they can live their life more. Welcome, Aleksandra. I'm so delighted to have you here on my show and for you to talk to my listeners about this very important topic, money. Because, well, I was gonna say it's all about money. Well, it's not really. However, right? However, why not have some money? Why not make some money in the process, right?
Why not have a lot of money?
Not a lot of money, right?
A lot of money.
Because there's nothing wrong with it. And like, the way I like, and let me know if you think the same, the way I understand making money and wealth is that it's byproduct of what we do for the world, right?
Yeah. So thank you for having me, first of all. Such a pleasure. And yes, oh my God, I am actually standing right on a seafront. It's a Black Sea. I can hear the waves. So I'm really, really gutted you can't hear it from where I am, but it's amazing. Wealth. Oh, very interesting subject, isn't it? I like to think about wealth as there's a definition for rich and there's a definition for wealth. Two different things. Rich people have got money, but they don't have freedom very often. They are working for money all the time. Wealthy people have got money and have got time. That's the kind of distinction, the difference. And that's why I'm passionate about making people wealthy, not making people rich, because if you've got $1 million in the bank account and you're not using it, what's the point?
Yeah. And so wealth is kind of an overarching concept that includes everything. Your bank account, your lifestyle, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the world, the universe, how you run or live with your family and all those things, right?
Yeah, and how you run your business as well. You know, I work with business owners who have, they come to me and they say, I'm working all the time. I ask, I'm making money, I've got a lot of money, but you know, the business is taking over my life. It's like business first and then life. And what I've done and what I help my clients with is actually tip it over. Life first and then business, kind of to fit into the gaps. This is where freedom business model comes in, right? This is where you start thinking differently about your business, your life, how you do money, and more money will come because suddenly you are aligning your business with your values. This is where it starts to make sense.
Yeah, it's so important. And so from what I know about you, and we talked before, right now you are in Georgia, and that's so cool. And
Yeah.
you went to you were telling me that you had more plans, right? And
So
so
in terms of traveling,
how do you manage, right? Because you're running a business.
yeah.
How do you manage to handle both business, family, educate your children, yourself, right? And also travel, a true nomad, true freedom.
Yeah. So let me take you back a few years. When I started my business, I was a consultant. I was working on a day rate kind of contractor stuff, selling time for money all the time. And it was very quickly that I realized I'm making really good money here, much more than I used to make in my corporate, but I don't have any freedom. It's the same kind of old grind. It's the same like come into the office, go home, think about work, go back. And it was pandemic that started making me think differently about what's going to happen. How do I want to run my business? What do I want to do with it? We then had some personal stuff happening, and that took me to the place where I could no longer run a business full time. That was not an option for me. I didn't have time to commit to my business. So how I do it now is I work. I say I work, but it's a very loose term that I work 3 days a week. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays are my
I
days when
play my business. I just say I play my business 3 days a week.
because it doesn't feel like running a business or doing a business the
Exactly.
way I do it now, right? And so my Zoom calls will only happen on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't do stuff like this on a Monday. I don't do stuff like this on a Friday. That was right. That was a lot of boundary setting for me as someone who's recovering people pleaser as well, to make sure that I say to clients, no, we don't have calls on Monday. We don't have calls on Friday. I had to look into my business model and see where I had gaps with my business model, where I was still doing more, and how can I be more efficient with how I do business? How can I serve my clients really powerfully, really well, help them massively, and not be chained to Zoom? I don't spend, my maximum capacity is 2 calls a day. So when you count it really quickly, I am kind of 6 calls a week. That's my max. And some of my clients that come to me, they say, I've got 6 calls a day. Like, this is my starting point, 6 calls a day. I'm like, how can you, you don't have any spaciousness in your life. So it's really, really hard to run a business. The way we structured it now is you might not hear it. Hold on. There's an aeroplane landing just above me. Just above me. So there was a huge noise.
I can't hear.
That's good. I could hear it. So I'm going to stop my tracks. So on Mondays and Fridays, we tend to travel and we tend to do some sightseeing, visit places. So for us, we've got the structure that works for us, right? Monday, we travel to a place that I know will have a really good internet connection, and we will stay there for a few days. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I do my business stuff. I tend to start work about lunchtime, so I've got time in the morning to do stuff with my daughter, to go away, to go for a walk. And then Friday, again, we either staying and visiting, or we are moving to a different location again, and we've got the weekend to explore. And this is how it works for us just now. And it works beautifully. It really, really does work. But we had to put some really serious boundaries in place. We had to make sure that we do it the way that works for us and not looking at other people the way they do it.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I'm jealous. That sounds amazing. However, it's different for everyone, and I think it's one of those things, right? And I remember back in the day, many years ago, I when I heard about the nomad concept, I was like, oh my God, I'd love it. But then, the way we tend to catch ideas from the external world and take them as our own. And I think that's what I'm busting, trying to bust with this podcast as well, that freedom can come in many shapes and forms, whatever is good for you. And I absolutely appreciate like your lifestyle, so I'm kind of jealous, but not really, I do other things that I love. And yeah, and that's the main point, I think, that freedom, as long as it feels freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the important thing for me is to actually understand what success looks like for an individual. And what you said, it's not signing up to others people's version of success.
Did you find like, and I remember this is a bit of an off topic because I do want to dive into money,
Yeah.
but I think this is also important, and this is something I want people to hear as well. I did the goal setting or the dream life exercise so many times with so many coaches, and now that I think back about it, I used to always, like, I never really felt what I really, really wanted. And I felt that what I wanted for myself was not really what those coaches were expecting for me to put on that list, right? So I was that list was conditioned by whatever I believed they wanted to hear
Yeah.
and
100%.
validate.
Yeah. And that's a scary thing because we need a lot of self-development and self-awareness at some point to be able to say, those are my goals, and I really don't care about my coach's goals. I want to achieve my goals and I'm okay with them. I remember once, years ago, one of my coaches, he asked me, what are my goals? And I said, and that's always been a goal of mine, right? Have a tiny house in the middle of nowhere on a big piece of land within the woodland, like in the nature. And he laughed and he told me, this is your sabotage mechanism. It's your escaping from the reality mechanism. It cannot be your dream. So his dream was a penthouse in London, right? And a Porsche. And that was not my dream. And that was for me, that just stopped me in my tracks for a long, long time. I was like, what's wrong with me that I don't have big goals like this? What is wrong? Where am I missing something? Am I, is this really a problem with me? And through the self-development work, I was able to discover that it's not me. It's just my definition is different to his definition.
Yeah.
And I now am, or a year ago, I was brave enough to sign up to my own definition of success, whereas previously, and this is something that we need to be really aware of, when we are trying to get to someone else's definition of success, it happens slower and it is more painful. Because
Yes.
there's no emotional, energetically, there's no emotional connection.
Yes. And I do think that, it's quite common for people to dream less, but that, when it comes from the place of I cannot do it and this is not for me, then we need to work on that, and we work on that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then again, sipping cocktails on the beach doesn't have to be everyone's dream life,
We downsized massively. We live in the motorhome just now, right? So for us, minimalist lifestyle and the ability to move from one place to another whenever we want. We are laughing, we are chasing the sunshine. We honestly look at the weather forecast. If where we are is meant to be raining in the next few days, we move somewhere that it's nice and sunny. That's why Georgia is really good, because it's got all the different climates in here. We're in a very tropical climate at the moment. But, you know, in the summer it was so hot here, we moved somewhere else within Georgia where it wasn't as hot. We've got this safety net, this stability, because we always sleep in our own bed. That was something that we really, really wanted. We've got a dog, so we can't really travel like digital nomad in hotels. And I know being in a hotel wouldn't work for me, because that's different energy. That's not my own space. I like having my own space, and the motorhome gives me that. Now, I know it's not for everyone, and I'm totally okay with it. I'm totally fine. And it's funny.
I love what you say, chasing the sunshine. How is that for a dream life, you know, goal? It's amazing.
We're always chasing the sunshine. It's so much fun when you can just open the map.
Tagline or something, you know, chasing that. It's so cool. Sounds really, really cool. So
I run on solar panels, solar energy. I need sunshine in my life. So, yeah.
Okay, so I really want to talk about money. This is the first episode on this podcast, I told you, right? It's such an important topic for, you know, one reason is that we do want that money as a byproduct, but also there are certain things in our subconsciousness, in our programming, that prevents us from making that money, because and we are not aware of many of those things. So I kind of want to talk about that part, but I also want to ask you, why money? How did you get into money, and why is such an important sort of like piece of this puzzle for you personally?
Okay, so let's start with the second question first, because that will help.
Yeah.
I come from a normal kind of background. You know, we were not wealthy, but we didn't struggle to find the money for food. Like, it was okay. We were okay. As you know, I come from Poland, so the Polish reality was different to reality, you know, in the UK, for example. We had different concepts when it comes to money. I trained to be a teacher, a maths teacher. I'm a qualified maths teacher, and I decided that after university that I don't want to go and work at school. I'm not made for it. It was my idea of nightmare. I moved to the UK and I became an accountant, just by accident, like honestly by accident. And that was when I started thinking about money differently, because it was when I realized, okay, I'm looking after money for other people. What am I doing with my own money? How am I treating my own money? How am I thinking about money? And me and my husband started a huge self-development journey a few years ago. And we started like thinking, okay, why are some people wealthy and some people are not? How is that some people have money coming to them very easily and some people don't? Why is it that some people invest money and grow money and some people never do? And all those questions, you know, we just loved learning. We started learning about money as much as we could. And this is pretty much how we ended up where we are at the moment. Learning about money as much as it was possible. Yeah.
Right. And then what did you discover in yourself?
A lot of programming, a lot of stories that are still popping up. Now, it's not that you will do the money work or someone is going to tell you this is your problem, remove it and you're sorted. Money problems happen at any level, at any time. It's like peeling an onion. You're getting rid of one layer and there's another one, and then there's another one. So it's like a never-ending journey that you need to be prepared for. You need to be aware that if I'm entering this world of self-development when it comes to money, I'm just going to be on this journey and I want to enjoy the journey and not just look for the destination. Okay.
You know what's interesting to me, right? So obviously entrepreneurs are into this by definition, right? So, you know, you know, the personal development thing, the personal growth thing, the spiritual stuff, although sometimes, you know, spiritual people tend to have a lot of limiting money programming. And, you know, what's interesting to me is that many entrepreneurs actually learn about money intellectually, and that, you know, they agree, right. Okay, I get it. Money is not bad. Money is neutral. Money is energy. Money is this and that. And they kind of, there's nothing wrong with wealth, with making riches and blah, 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 those kind of things. And yet, and they believe they got it. I get it. And yet something is stopping them. And they
It's
believe, like, for example, I also like, oh, money is great. I
yeah,
want money. And
on
yet
your conscious level.
I
Yes, you know
started
this
digging.
conscious level. Yeah, you know that like everyone in the right mind, if you ask people, do you want money? Everyone will say yes. Pretty much everyone will say yes, of course I want money on a conscious level. But what is happening on the subconscious level? There are stories that are buried into our bodies, literally buried into our bodies, where we've learned them from past lives, from when being in the womb, from the age of 0 to 7. We've been programmed to think about money and ourselves in a certain way. And when I'm working with clients and they tell me, I know what I need to do to make money, but it's still not working. Why? This is where I know it's a subconscious thing. There is something that is holding them back. Something within their body, it's a memory, it could be a past version of themselves, something that is telling them you cannot do this because it is not safe for you. You cannot do this because this is not how we do things. And we run, as you know, 95% of our life is being run by our subconscious. So whilst you know on a conscious level that you want money, it's only 5% of the time that you are on your conscious. You are in your subconscious 95.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting as well, when I was digging in my subconscious programming, and the way they tell you, you know, remember about all the things they told you when you were growing, when you were a kid. And in fact, I was growing for the most part in the Soviet Union. There was no such thing as wealth. There was no such concept. There was no private property or private business or entrepreneurship, you know, wasn't a thing. And yet I was thinking, okay, our family did okay, right? Did okay. And I couldn't remember any specific moments from my childhood that would have programmed me so hard against building money. But then what you said now also, and that's something I dive into in other areas. It's not only about my childhood, it's about what my parents might have brought from their childhood and their life and so on, right?
There are so many layers
Oh
to
my
this, but
God.
something you said, let me give you my example. So I am a frequency imprinting coach. I did this. I certified in frequency imprinting to allow or to be able to help my clients deeper, on a deeper level and better. And something that I had to do as part of qualification, I had to go through my own kind of experience of the frequency imprinting. So I had to be coached and taken through the process. And I had an issue with, my thing was, I can't charge 30 grand. It's like so much money. I can't charge 30K. This is not something that I can say to someone. And we went through the process. We did the process with my coach at the time. And it turned out that the memory that my body, my subconscious attached to charging that level of money was when I was about 2 years old. My sister was born, my younger sister was born. And the memory came back flashing to me in a meditative state that we were on a walk with my mom and my dad, and my sister, all the attention was on my sister, and I was crying like hell or something. I have no idea what it was. But in that moment, in a 2-year-old Aleksandra, what happened, she realized she can't be asking for something because the attention goes somewhere else. And that memory, I've got goosebumps even talking about it again. That
Wow,
memory was so solid in my body that even thinking about, okay, charging someone 30 grand is like, oh, no, it's no one's gonna say yes, no one's gonna listen to me, people will ignore me. All the stories started coming up, right? And it was the connection to this memory when I was 2. I was blown away, like completely blown away, because now I've got no issue. I've cleared the memory, I went through the process. I've got no issue saying to someone it's 30 grand.
You know what is fascinating and almost scary to me personal than when, the understanding that all the smallest things,
Yeah,
one sentence, one word settles in
exactly.
our programming. It's crazy.
And this is where I see a lot of money mindset coaches go really, really wrong. Because they tell you what's your memory of money, how did your parents talk about money, what can you remember about money from your childhood, when actually what is stopping us is very rarely a memory that is about money. It's a memory about ourselves. It's someone telling us, or no, it's someone doing something that makes us think, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve, this is not for me, I can't ask for that much. It's got nothing to do with money when you think about it, right? If someone tells you at school, you can't have this sweetie, it's not about money. But what it does in a child's head, it creates this connection, I'm not worthy of the sweetie. And then when you're going to work as a business owner and you're asking your clients for money, your old memory comes back and tells you, but you're not worthy. Reduce your prices, reduce your prices, reduce your prices. Does it make sense? This is where we need to be digging.
Yes. You know, you are talking, and my thoughts are just racing about all sorts of things. So, for example, so back to my childhood, right? So most coaches told me, well, do you have any memories from your childhood where your parents said something, well, I did have this thing that in order to live well, you need to work hard and
Yeah,
you need to be educated as well. So
yeah,
that I remember. But also actually what just dawned on me again, that I was growing in the society in the Soviet Union, imagine, where the whole society, the structure, the very structure of the society, of the economy was against money. And in fact, when I was in school in the first class in the primary school, I remember we were told that we are heading for this communism where there will be no money. And you can then go to any shop and take anything you want. And I remember sitting and dreaming about taking as many candies as I wanted. But that the underlying programming was that money is bad. We are getting rid of it.
yeah, yeah. So imagine what it did to you. Now,
Oh,
I actually see it as a blessing just now, because when I think about how lucky are we just now, right? We know this stuff. My mom, no one talked to her about money mindset. She didn't know things like this existed. So the way I look at it is, we are so blessed and so lucky that we get to do this painful work, because it's painful, let's face it. But what we are doing, we are the generation of deal breakers. So because we are doing it now, we are not passing on the old programming onto our kids. We
I
are more
I
aware of what's happening.
I loved what you said. We are so lucky we get to do this painful work,
Yeah.
right? And I think that the possibility of pain stops a lot of people but it's such a good reframe to say we are so lucky because when we were growing, it was not even a thing, anything mindset, anything personal development. It was completely out of our paradigm
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
life.
So, and that's why it makes so much sense to do it now, to go on this journey without the expectation. This is another thing that I'm seeing a lot happening in the industry. People jump into the money mindset work with the huge expectation and attachment. It's like, I'm gonna do this work because it's gonna bring me money, and I'm gonna do this work and it has to work. This is the kind of approach that never works. Sorry to break it, guys, but it never works. Do this work because you know it will improve the quality of your life. Do this
Yeah,
work because it will have an impact on you and future generations. And
yeah.
it will come.
The other thing I would like to talk about with you is, so obviously since I got on this entrepreneurship journey, I did a lot of personal development, and they say if you want to grow, or starting your own business is the best personal growth school or whatever, and that's so freaking true. It's crazy, right? However, right, so I started distinguishing after certain events in my own life this mainstream personal development, which I now perceive as trying to convince yourself you are all cool, you are badass, and you can do it and go for it, and don't care what others think and all those kind of things. But this is convincing yourself, right? That's not what we are talking about here with you, right?
No, convincing yourself is like painting your body in a some sort of paint color to pretend you are someone else.
Yeah, I like that analogy. I started it came to me a while ago about it's like gluing wings on a caterpillar and expecting it to start
Yeah,
flying.
exactly this. Exactly this. It's never gonna work long term. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
might give you a temporary spike in results, but long term, it's not sustainable. It's not doable.
That's it, temporary. Yes, we do feel excited for a while. We do feel motivated for a while, right? But it wears out so fast. And I can't even, it used to be so frustrating when I tell myself I'm gonna do this, and then a week later, oh my God, what is that person who was telling herself she was gonna crush it from now on?
And that's a normal cycle we go through, right? That's a cycle of life. The same way, the seasons work. There's a season to slow
Mm.
down, and there is a season to go big. There's a season to flourish. All of those things have to happen, and especially for us as women, we've got our own cycle that we need to follow. So it's different for men than it's for women. And when a woman follows her cycle, she needs the time to actually slow down. And she's got the time when she can go like all in, big. Men have got different. They can do it every single day. As women, we can't. We are more, not conditioned. We are created by nature in a different way.
We need to flow, we need to receive. It's okay to receive. And actually, the idea of receiving, rather than going for it,
Yeah.
helped me so much.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% this. We block ourselves from receiving from the very early days of our life.
Oh my God. So tell me, what somebody who is stuck in the grind and not seeing the results that she knows she should have by now, what do you think she should start being aware of
Okay.
around
Good
money?
question.
Yeah.
Good question. Love this one. So, what my recommendation would be, go back to the basics in terms of what is my why? What are my values? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Is my business aligned with my values first? And I say it taking on full responsibility. As a money mentor, I talk about money at the end. I start with life and freedom first, because and I tried it myself, and I've got clients who tried it. Doing things for the money only doesn't make you money. Doing things in alignment with your values will bring you the money so much faster.
Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. Thank you for this answer, because that's what I do, only in terms of marketing. And what
Yeah.
you said about understanding your values, understanding your vision, the alignment, and not vision that is sort of expected from you. It's about like really what you resonate. And you know, as a marketer, I say sell it to yourself first.
Yeah.
Like if I've seen so many entrepreneurs who look kind of dead when they talk about their offers. So what can you sell when you don't feel anything for the thing that you're selling? So if you don't believe it, who's gonna believe it, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that would be step one. Step two that I go through is making sure that you can make the money that you want to be making, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be 10K, by the way. It can be 5K, or it can be 8K, or it can be 20K, whatever it is for you. But make sure that your offer suite allows you to make that money in the time that you've got available in line with your values. So I'll explain this a little bit more, because that's something that my clients tell me, wow, that just changed everything for me. When I started my business, I was doing one-to-one only. And very quickly, I realized it's not in line with my value of freedom, because I'm selling time for money. So I started scaling with programs. I started playing with prices, increasing prices, doing all of this kind of offer revamp, let's say. But what I didn't do at the start, and again, you know, learn from my mistakes, I didn't look at the big picture. If I've got this offer suite, if I run this with that many clients, does it bring me the money that I want? One. And two, does it allow me to live my life the way I want? That's why I don't do discovery calls with clients. I don't jump on a call with people. So if someone tells me you can make 100K in the next month, but you need to do 90 discovery calls, I'll be like, no, thank you. No, I'm not just not interested. This is not my idea of fun. This is not how I want to run my business.
Yeah, and
having the
your
awareness
lifestyle is
works for you.
price. Your lifestyle has a much higher price than that.
Yeah, yeah. 100, but for some people it's okay. They want to do it this way. They love to do it this way. And as long as this is them and this works for them, I'm all in for them. I'm happy for them. And I will very often advise
Yeah.
clients, you know, this is how you do it, right? Because it needs to work for you. I am very much against the cookie cutter exercise. We are
And,
not cookies to cut. We
and
are
I think the message, and I think the message here is and what I'm hearing is as well, is that you don't have to grind to make money. It's the opposite,
100%.
right?
What we do is we undercharge. We create programs that will never make us the money that we want. We self-sabotage through it because we don't look at the big picture, realizing that your offer suite will never give you the money that you want. And then we make it mean something about us. So like, again, an example, client comes to me and says, I want to make 10K a month. This is my offer suite. And when I look at it, I'm a projector in human design, so I see things differently very often. Look at her offer and I say, in order to achieve that, you need to work 7 days a week, and you need to work like 6, 7 hours a day. Does it make you happy? No. Would you want it? No. That's a self-sabotage. Your subconscious will not allow you to make the money. You will kill yourself working, and you will still not make the money that you want because your offer suite is not right.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first step is to align with your values. Like, first of all, understand your values.
Yeah.
Right. And your values is not something probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you logically kind of pull together. You feel them, right?
Yeah.
Feel
Yeah.
your values.
Yeah. And there are exercises you can do to work out your values. Now, I didn't know freedom was my core value until I went for an exercise and discovered that is my top priority, freedom. I could feel that I wanted freedom. I could feel that I wasn't happy in 9 to 5, being told when I can go off, what I can do, how can I do it. So I kind of knew this, but I didn't have the answer, the proper answer. Doesn't make sense. So I went through exercise, and it was when, oh, freedom. That's my main value. Wow, that makes so much sense. And then I started stripping off my business model, started changing the business model so that everything that I was doing in business, I would always ask the question, is it gonna bring me freedom?
Mm-hmm.
My second value is fun. So it was like, is it gonna bring me freedom? Is it gonna bring me fun? If the answer
Mm-hmm.
was no to one of them, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't discovery calls, because they are not freedom for me.
I did so many. I used to do, well, many, not maybe not that many, but I used to do discovery calls, so-called discovery calls. The amount of no-shows I
Yeah.
faced was crazy. And many, many times I had to be at home ready for that call instead of going somewhere with my family. And then I was staring at a blank screen on Zoom,
Yeah.
you know, so frustrating.
And
Okay.
then so often we make it mean something about us.
Yeah.
Or they didn't show up because maybe I'm not good enough, maybe this, maybe
Yeah.
that, maybe that. And that has got a knock-on impact on how we run the business, how we charge, how we create offers, how we price our offers, everything. It's like a domino effect.
Mm-hmm. So obviously, step one, values. Step two is the sort of a like business model, right? Is there step three?
Let me just hold on. There is step 3, but it's more about learn from my mistakes. So I ran a free event very recently that was exactly about this, how I created the freedom business model. And it was like day 1 was about the values, day 2 was about the business model, day 3 was about my mistakes. Like learn from my mistakes, don't make them. But at the same time, if you want to make your own mistakes, learn from them, do them and learn from them.
It's so funny, right? So none of the steps actually included, only touched on the concept of money. So what I'm seeing is that sorting out your money situation is more about sorting out those other things, and money is really just a symptom.
Yeah. And this is where I've got a huge issue sometimes with coaching industry in general, because we are being bombarded right, left, and center with just come in and make more money, learn new strategy, you will make more money. And what happens is
Yeah.
we learn the strategy, we spend money on the strategy, we learn the strategy, but we've not tackled everything else. So the
Yeah.
strategy cannot work. It doesn't work. It doesn't give us the results. And then we go about, okay, there's something wrong with me, obviously. We go back into the same circle. I just need another strategy. There will be a different strategy. And that's
Yeah. That, and this is yet another big ball of subconscious programming. And as a marketer, I'm in it as well. I'm in the world of strategies and frameworks and methods and so on. And the way our society works, everybody expects those tangible promises.
yeah,
And so people are forced to quantify everything. And it is a problem because we still market to egos,
yeah,
right? So it's tricky. It's tricky. How do we approach marketing something that's not quite tangible to something that perceives tangibility? So it's tricky, but that's the reason why there are so many promises about figures alone without helping people to actually become the person who can
yeah,
actually use those strategies and get the rewards.
yeah. And there's another layer to it. So if the strategy works, you make money, you've not done the subconscious work, you are not able to keep that money because your subconscious is still telling you it's not gonna work, this is not right. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna be working more to make more, burning yourself out in the process because you can't hold more money, you can't keep more money, you are not leveraging the money that you're making. That's like another piece of cake to tackle that I help my clients sort out to make sure that when they make money, they use that money in a way that either creates more money for them or I laugh, every pound has a job, right? Because this is what you want. If you are making money, you want to make sure that the money is working for you, not you working for the money.
Yeah.
But that requires different strategies, different mindset, and clearing some of the programming that we've got. Like, you have to work hard for your money. So why would you make it easy?
How often do you meet people who don't seem aligned with what they are doing?
Gosh, a lot. A lot, really a lot. And that is coming from from the programming, from social media. Most of it is from social media. Do it this way. This is how you're gonna make your million.
Content calendars. I remember. Oh, where can I get a content calendar for the whole year? Have all these. Remember, there was this set of Monday motivation,
Yeah.
Wednesday tip.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's like taking, that was this meme somewhere that I've seen. You're taking all the animals and you are asking a fish to jump up the tree and you're judging them all on the same base. It was related to school, but this is kind of the same in business, right? We expect all to be the same as business owners, and we think that in order to get results, financial results, we all have to do the same thing. But it doesn't work this way. And if you sign up to someone else's way of doing things, you are already kind of taking yourself away from where you want to be.
yeah. Yeah, totally. Totally. So apart from those three steps that you mentioned that people need to start looking into, especially if they don't feel aligned. And like, oh my God, for the longest time, I did not feel aligned. I didn't know how to approach connecting things, clicking things, then it resolved itself, eventually, thankfully. And it's actually, this podcast is part of that as well. But is there anything else somewhere among the in between the lines that maybe could become quite obvious for people that they're not realizing right now, or some sort of symptoms or signs that are showing in the way they're doing things or the way they are thinking that they don't think are sabotaging them, where in fact they are?
Yeah. So resistance, when you're feeling resistant, that's one of the signs that I see with
Right.
a lot of people. When you are every morning you're waking up, oh, do I need to do it again? This kind of energy means you're not on the right track and something needs to happen. When you're completely ignoring money in your life, like completely ignoring money
Mm,
because oh, it will sort itself out. Ignoring learning about money, that's another thing. Because when you want to be friends with money, when you want to have more money, you want to learn more about it. So don't avoid it. Make sure that you are starting to explore what's going on in my bank account, how am I managing it? Budget is not a dirty word. I don't like talking about budgets because I prefer spending plan. Budget seems very constrictive. So for me, it's a spending plan, but it's about creating this loving relationship, going on a money date, creating loving relationship with money where you both benefit from it. If you are ignoring money almost and only asking for it to be with you when you want it on your terms, something is wrong.
mm.
So looking closer at your relationship with money is definitely something that I would be exploring more, looking more into, journaling on. There are so many ways where you can start looking into, okay, what is this? How does it look like? Is it how I want it to look like?
So can we say that everyone has some sort of wrong programming around money?
100%.
Yeah.
100%, yes.
You,
Yes,
you know what
everyone.
was surprising to me at some point where I thought, I was coming from the Soviet Union, I was growing in the Soviet Union, so obviously money was not even nobody talked about money. Like, I mean, it was not even, I don't know, it's weird. It's kind of weird to remember that now. Now, and then when I became entrepreneur, and actually I see Lithuanians still, when I returned to live in Lithuania, I keep hearing Lithuanians saying, oh, we Lithuanians, I tell them about the pricing and, oh, we in Lithuania, we, people don't buy, you don't pay a lot, those kind of things. And I was like, really, we in Lithuania? Tell me about the rest of the world. It
Yeah.
was actually quite surprising for me to see those kind of limiting beliefs everywhere,
Yeah.
even in capitalist countries, everywhere in the world, right?
It is absolutely everywhere, and it doesn't matter how much money you're making. Now, I've got clients who are just starting up in business, coming in with money issues, money blocks, but I've got clients who are making millions a year, and they still have got money issues. It's the same problem, it's just different level. New level, new devil, as they say.
I think that's another myth, is that once I break through the six-figure ceiling, I'm all sorted.
Oh gosh, don't get me started on this one.
Right? Right? That is not true. So everyone, whoever is, trying to break through the next level for them, they need to be aware of next level, I guess, struggles, or, depending on how you are running your business,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely. It's like this six figure is a holy grail that will sort out all of our problems. If we don't do the work to see that it's not six figures that is sorting our problems, it will never sort our problems.
Right. So if somebody gets up in the morning and feels resistance, and they just they drag themselves to the desk, to do some work, but they just don't feel like it, what's your recommendation in that very moment? What should they do?
Okay, so I've got, that's something I shared in a freedom business model as well. And I'm happy to share this course with anyone if they want access to it. If I can share the link, I'm more than happy to give it to you. There is a triangle that I've kind of got that for business owner that works really, really well. In this corner, you've got CEO of the business. In this corner, you've got the employee of the business. And this corner, you've got the creator of the business. They all need to behave in a certain way in order for the business to be profitable, be making money, and be more fun. I can almost guarantee that if you are feeling resistance in your business, it's because you're missing out one of those three key in your business. Because when you're always in your creator, in your artist, no one's looking after the money, and you will resist your business very quickly if you're not making money but putting all the time in. Right? If you're an employee in a business, you are very likely doing all the things, but you're not seeing the big picture, and the money might be coming in and going out. And again, you're feeling resistance. You're not working with the right people, with the right type of clients. When you're CEO in the business, or when you're missing the CEO in your business, you don't have the vision. You don't know what's going on. You're living day to day in your business, and that creates resistance as well. Because where is this taking me kind of approach? Why am I doing this even? What's the point? So using this triangle really helps my clients to see where the resistance is showing up for them. Now, one thing that I want to mention is don't use resistance as an excuse. Because a lot of people, what they do, I don't feel like it today, so I'm not doing it today. I don't feel like running a business today. And I get it, but don't make yourself comfortable in this space, because this is not where growth happens. It's about understanding, why am I feeling the resistance? What have I created in my business that I don't feel aligned with? Most of the time, it will be you're undercharging, and you're feeling it on a subconscious level that you're being massively undervalued. 2, you are compromising your freedom in your business, and you're working all the hours, and you're missing out on freedom, and that doesn't align with your values, so it doesn't align with you, and it creates resistance. 2 main things that I'm seeing with people when it comes to like feeling a lot of resistance.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And I think a lot of people who do embrace the freedom first mentality and way of doing things and flow and creativity, they can actually get stuck in that mode as well, right? Without doing things, because we can dream, we can create, but we also need to manifest by actually doing the thing,
Taking
right?
action. And that's why you really want to have the three people in your business. And you are deciding, okay, what is the role for this person, that person, that person? How am I making sure they all do the right thing at the right time to create the business that we want to create?
Yeah, that makes so much sense. I think now what I'm seeing a lot is that the two extremes, doing on one end, doing
Yeah,
without thinking, without creating, without giving yourself space, without aligning. And then this other end is it's only about aligning. It's only about, I don't know, raising that frequency or whatever,
yeah,
and then waiting for somebody or something to actually sit you at your desk or whatever
yeah.
and do the thing.
Which means ultimately you're either in your masculine all the time, very masculine, or you're very much in your feminine all the time. But in order for this to work, you need to have both, and you need to have them at the right balance as well.
Yeah, that is so true. That's so true. It's so easy to get lost in those. However, I should say, right? And I don't want like somebody who just discovered the new way of running business and creating from freedom, right? To think that, oh my God, now I don't know what I'm doing anymore, right? I think we need to give ourselves some grace. And I think there is a period of time whenever you discover something new and whenever something unlocks, there is this integration time, right? And it's okay, it's normal.
Yeah. Don't burn the bridges immediately. Like, don't stop doing things you've been doing, but actually become curious and start thinking, okay, how can I make it better? What can I change? What is the next step for me? Don't try to see what's going to happen in 6 months' time. Look at the next
Mhm.
day. Like, how can I make a small improvement? You know what they say? It's always in the 1% improvements, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, very, very cool. And, such a good topic and such an important topic. Money, that's one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. We want freedom and freedom, money is part of that as well, right? So it's almost agonizing sometimes to see how people postpone
Yeah,
the lifestyle that they actually want,
yeah.
and it's because of all the programming and all the conditioning, and thinking that whatever somebody said is right, you know. So thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me. Such a pleasure.
it's such a good topic, and I would like to have you again at some point. I think
I
uh,
love talking about money. So any
I think, there are, like you mentioned, there are so many layers to this topic. And tell us a little bit about how you help people and where they can find you.
So the easiest way to find me is either on Facebook or on LinkedIn. Just searching for Aleksandra Kohut. And I've got like different programs that are helping people from very early stages when it comes to money to very high touch one-to-one programs as well. Group one-to-one, there is a good mix of things
Mhm.
that work for me and for my clients.
And so basically you put them in you install success mindset when it comes to money
Oh, I love it.
for them.
Oh, that is nice. I'm going to claim that one. Yes.
Go for it. Go for it. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna ask you to send me the links. I'll put them in the show notes, so people can find you. And then you mentioned something they could go to some PDFs or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, they can grab. So I'll put everything in the show notes. And now some what I call blitz questions that you're not ready for,
Oh, okay.
that I give
Okay.
to all my guests now. Don't worry, they are fun. So the first question is, when you hear from grind to grace, what goes through your mind?
Freedom for some reason. Like, this is the, oh, yes.
It's perfect. It's perfect because, well, as if there is perfect, but perfect for this show because it's all about freedom, as you heard in the intro. So freedom is the path. That's what I say. So, right. And so the next question, two more, very quick ones. What change would you like to see in the world?
I would love for women to have more money and use it the way they want to use it to create the impact. Like, imagine if all the good people had a lot of money in the world, how
Oh,
much we can do.
oh,
So that's my one thing, 100%.
I know, that's really cool. And so the last one is, what impact would you personally like to make in the world?
I want to make people that are working with me happier and people that are working with me to see, to create the money, the financial freedom that they want by living their life more. That's what I said at the start, right? My clients love to travel. They want to travel more and they need money for it, which is a perfect combination for me. So yeah, that's what I'm here for. Travel more by having the money to do it.
Love it. Love it. And so thank you so much for being with me,
Thank you for having
for
me.
sharing your wisdom and your insights and giving us some practical stuff as well. Appreciate you, really.
You are more than
What a
welcome.
good chat. And so for the listener, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy this episode, please share it to the left and to the right and follow the podcast. Let's spread the word. You're not here to grind. You are here to create from freedom. There you go. Bye for now.
Bye.